23 things you may not know about Arlington, Virginia. What is going on, everybody? So my name is Jeff Layton, and I'm an Arlington, Virginia real estate agent and also resident. And the first thing is that Arlington, Virginia is consistently ranked as one of the best places in the United States to live. So according to niche.com, it's the number 2 best city in the USA, and it's also top 5 for best cities to raise a family and best cities for young professionals. The next thing to know is that Arlington used to be a part of Washington, D.C. So from 1801 to 1847, Arlington and also part of Alexandria were included as being Washington, D.C. And then in 1847, it was retroceded to Virginia by Congress. And so not only was it a part of Washington, D.C., but Arlington and Alexandria was known as Alexandria County, D.C. And then in 1870, Alexandria and Arlington County split up. The next thing to know, so Arlington County is the smallest county in the United States. So it's only about 26 square miles, and it's the smallest self-governing county in the United States. Now there's about 250,000 people that actually live here, so population-wise, it's nowhere near the smallest. But in terms of geography, it's only 26 square miles. Next up, Arlington County has the world's second largest office building in the entire world. And for a long time, it was the largest office building in the world until a building in India called the Surat Diamond Bourse was built in 2023, and that building has 35 acres, 15 stories, and it's home to over 65,000 professionals, which is insane. The Pentagon is also massive and has about 30,000 people that work there at any given time. Arlington County is also the fittest county in the United States. So according to the American College of Sports and Medicine, Arlington County has actually won this award like 5-6 years in a row and will probably continue to win it for the foreseeable future. They basically looked at about 35 different evidence-based health indicators like rec facilities, how often people work out, that type of thing. And based on all those factors, Arlington County was the winner. And what's great about living in Arlington County is that there's every type of like gym available. So you have more like the corporate, like the Gold's gyms, but then you have like smaller boutique classes, boxing classes, softball leagues, yoga classes. There's every type of gym and fitness and program, whatever your goals are. There's probably multiple options when it comes to fitness. And there's a lot of outdoor fitness. You know, there's like trails, parks, recreation, things like that as well. The next thing to know, and this is pretty much the opposite of fitness, is that the Nestle headquarters is actually located in Roslyn. So they moved their headquarters from California, and basically when they were doing their search, they looked at 20 different cities, and they were looking for things like they wanted a highly qualified talent pool, they wanted a great quality of life, they wanted an attractive location for their workers to relocate from California. And they also wanted a strategic East Coast location. So being right next to DC and being close to airports, they chose Arlington, Virginia. And not only did Nestle move their headquarters here, but Amazon HQ too. They announced that they were moving their second headquarters to Arlington, Virginia. And that was also a significant process for them to choose between the different cities because Amazon actually got pitched by 238 different cities offering them like tax incentives and just different proposals to bring their headquarters because Amazon is bringing 25,000 jobs to Arlington County. And they chose Arlington for a lot of the same reasons that Nestle chose Arlington. Strategic East Coast location, you're very close to airports, great quality of life. And also Jeff Bezos has a house in DC not too far from they're building their headquarters kind of in like the Crystal City location in South Arlington, right pretty close by to the DCA airport. So you can look up Jeff Bezos' DC house and it's pretty nice and not too far away. And Amazon plans on spending over $2.5 billion to build out this second headquarters here. And these projects, you know, they're always delayed and they always cost more. A good rule of thumb even if you're just doing a kitchen renovation is that it's going to take longer and cost more than you're expecting. And I'm sure a $2.5 billion development, it's already delayed a bit and I'm sure it's going to cost more. But over the next 5, 10, 15 years, it'll be interesting to see how it's developed. The next thing to know is that the DCA airport is actually located in Arlington, Virginia. Now it has a Washington, DC address, but it's on the Virginia side of the river. So living in Arlington, it's super convenient, super easy to get to the airport. It's a quick Uber ride or you can also take the metro. And what's also cool is that right before DCA airport, there's a place called Gravelly Point. And a lot of people will have like a picnic here. They might throw a football, walk their dog, play some soccer, but it's right along the river and you can watch the planes come and go. So it's a very popular place, to hang out, for an afternoon or a few hours at least. And also DCA is not really an international airport. I think you might be able to fly to Canada, but Dulles Airport is just about 15 or 20 minutes away from DCA Airport. It's not in Arlington, but it's pretty close by for more of the international flights. And the next thing that you probably didn't know is that Arlington actually has its own island. So Teddy Roosevelt Island is right there next to Roslyn. It was dedicated to the former president. He was an avid outdoorsman, and also I think he was big time bird watcher as well. And there's over 200 bird species that apparently frequent this island. And the island actually has a lot of history. I think it used to be a Native American fishing village. And then Teddy Roosevelt, when he was training the soldiers for war, I believe the famous, Rough Riders actually trained there before they went out to battle. And the way it's set up right now is that there's a couple different trails. So some people just walk around and enjoy the scenery and the nature. Other people actually go there to work out. It's good for jogging. Sometimes people bring their dogs and walk around. But it's very scenic, highly recommended. And you get some great views of the skyline of Roslyn and also the Georgetown waterfront, because when you're on the island, you can basically just like almost walk down to the water. And there is a pretty decent sized parking lot there. However, depending on the time of day and which day it is, it can definitely fill up. So just plan accordingly and maybe try to get there a little bit early or maybe during the off hours. All right, let's talk about some celebrities that grew up in Arlington, lived in Arlington, or were born in Arlington. So most famously, Warren Beatty and Shirley MacLaine grew up in Arlington. Sandra Bullock is probably our biggest celebrity. She went to Washington Lee High School. Jim Morrison, Al Gore actually used to live here. Katie Couric, Zach Hanson from the Hanson brothers. I think he was born here. I don't think he actually lived here very long. Patch Adams from the movie with Robin Williams. And then also the notorious spy Aldrich Ames. So real quick, 10 seconds. If you're looking to buy or sell in Arlington or have any questions about living in the general Arlington or DC area, shoot me a text at the number below or give me a call. I would love to assist. The next thing to know about Arlington County is that the public school system here is usually ranked as one of the top in the states and as one of the best in the country. And it's also typically ranked as one of the best places to teach. So every website and newspaper is going to have their own algorithm and ranking system, but Arlington County is typically going to be at the top or very near the top when it comes to the public school system. Next up, Arlington County is ranked as Northern Virginia's most walkable city. And depending on which neighborhood you live, the walk score is going to be very good. Obviously when you live near Ballston, Clarendon, your walk score could be like freaking 95 or 99. But there's also some more residential parts of Arlington where maybe you have to drive 5 or 10 minutes, you have to drive 5 or 10 minutes to the nearest grocery store or restaurant. But overall, it's very convenient. And there's actually a documentary, I think it's like a 10 or 20, 30-minute documentary about the development in Arlington, how a lot of the development happened along the Orange Line. And Arlington County has actually won awards for the smart development because it's so easily accessible, walking, biking, metro, bus. And one thing I remember about growing up in Arlington is that people would say, oh yeah, I have a BMW, bus, metro, walk. There's so many different options when it comes to transportation. Arlington County is also the most educated county in Virginia and one of the most educated areas in the nation, with over 76% of people having a bachelor's degree or higher. And living in Arlington, I can attest to that. It seems like everybody is getting like a master's degree. A lot of people have bachelor's degrees. There's a lot of programs around here. George Mason has a lot of master degree programs, Johns Hopkins, Georgetown. There's plenty of options. Arlington County is also one of the safest cities in the entire United States. And again, it depends on which ranking you're looking at, but it's always top 15. Sometimes it's the actual number 1 safest county. Sometimes it's top 10, top 5. So it just kind of depends. But on the flip side of that, there are a lot of police officers here. So definitely, when you come to that stop sign, make sure you come to a complete 100% stop. Maybe even wait, pause an extra second or two, because I know I've gotten tickets before. I know a lot of friends and family who have gotten tickets for more or less minor things, not coming to a complete stop. And it's definitely not the place to speed either, because they will catch you. The rich list. So Arlington County is actually in the top 15 of the richest counties in the United States. And there's actually several cities and counties around the Northern Virginia area. Falls Church, Loudoun County, Fairfax County are all up there. And then different counties around New York and California also round out that list. Let's talk about how Arlington County actually got its name. So Arlington got its name after a house owned by George Washington's adopted son. So he lived in a house called the Arlington House, which eventually was where Robert E. Lee lived. And now that house is actually still preserved in the Arlington National Cemetery. So another thing you might not know about Arlington County, and I didn't even realize this until doing some more research for this video. Having grown up in Arlington County, nobody told me this, but the Wright brothers, after they started experimenting with flying and everything like that, obviously the military started becoming very interested in that. And so in 1909 at Fort Myer, which is obviously still there, the Wright brothers showed off their flying abilities to some of the government and military officials. The next thing to know is that if you're a foodie, you are in luck in Arlington County. So like I mentioned, there's only 26 square miles, but there are over 600 restaurants in Arlington, which if you do the math, that's a lot of restaurants per square mile. And some of my recommended restaurants would be Pollo Rico for some like fast casual Peruvian style chicken. And then Ruthie's All Day and also Liberty Tavern are great places for brunch, lunch, dinner. Definitely worth checking out. So shoot me a text or give me a call at the number below if you have any interest in buying or selling in Arlington or any questions about living in this general area. Would love to assist. See you on the next one. Bye.